Hello and welcome to the analysis of my target audience questionnaire. Now, first question. What do you expect to see in the opening sequence of a thriller? And this has been answered by fast-paced camera shots, elements of crime, title cards and names of the people that made it, some action happening, and maybe a chase between two people. Shaky titles and long takes building up to anticipation, perhaps using only one take in the method of a sequence shot. An opening to characters, the expectation of seeing fast-paced action that leaves the audience wondering what's going to happen next, and an action shot. Now, I believe this is going to be significant, and I believe this was a good question to ask because it's easy to produce anything, but it's not so easy to know what to produce and how to produce it. And I felt that asking via survey the elements of what people expect will allow me to tailor, if you like, my opening sequence to the genre in question. Okay, question number 2. How old are you? And the average age that has responded to the survey is 18. So that's a year older than me. So around people the same age as me will be watching this, which is good for me, I suppose, because I could sort of step back and say, well, would I watch it? Question number 3. Which of the following thriller film opening sequences do you prefer? Now, I asked this question to sort of know the style of sequences that people prefer, and I believe I'd say I used a wide range within the genre of opening sequences. For instance, there was The Purge, which was a slow sort of build-up. It didn't really show much information. It was kind of just a montage of a lot of action, but not a lot of action. I don't know, I suppose you'd have to watch it to understand, but it wasn't as revealing as, say, the Skyfall opening sequences. Immediately while watching the opening sequence of Skyfall, you're surrounded by the action and you're immersed in it. So I asked this question to sort of get a gist of what opening sequence I should create, and by the looks of it, the most popular one was, best believe it, Skyfall, I believe. Okay. Question number 4. What aspects of the opening sequence you selected did you like? So I did this to know if they had selected a certain opening sequence, why they liked it, so I could really get to the point and add elements of why they liked what they saw in my own opening sequence. And the responses we have here are fast-paced music and action, the video effects of looking through the CCTV, the chase scene and the action of it, the fact that it's a chase so it keeps you glued to it as you want to know what will happen. Someone said they really liked the idea of CCTV and the use of mise-en-scene being different parts of the location and effects such as fire and violent props, and a snippet about the film without giving away too much information. Another said the use of editing, and this one's a bit more concise, as it says, I liked the fast-paced notion of the opening sequence of Skyfall. And lastly, but not least, the suspense. Now, this question was an important question because it was going to enable me to, if you like, know why people had selected what they had selected and the reasoning behind what they like. And I can tell you now, I'll definitely be using elements of the responses to create my opening sequence, as people have raised good points, and I can sort of see why they've said what they've said, and I feel as though I can relate to it, and due to the fact that it is the age group around me, I think it's going to be easier for me to relate to it as to if it was an older year group around their age of like 50. Okay, question number 5. What do you associate with a thriller film in terms of content? And I suppose you could say answers vary within this question. People have said exciting and intriguing, and opposite ends of the spectrum, murder and romance, action and horror, a fast-paced film with a lot of props. And someone said that thrillers often involve slow takes to build up tension, and male protagonists, violent props, and dark colours. For me personally, I'd like to stick with the convention of thrillers, but maybe I'll try as much as I can to buck the trend, because I feel that maybe if I did buck the trend, this would allow me to entice more viewers and not make the stereotypical, predictable, conventional thriller while it is still in convention, if you know what I mean. Suspense, yeah, that's a must in a thriller. An association of a feeling of the unknown throughout the film, which makes it an effective thriller film. You know what? I agree, whoever said that. And you can surely be sure that you're going to feel, if you like, sense of the unknown within my opening sequence. Obviously, within thrillers, there's sub-genres within that genre. So this question was, what type of thriller film do you prefer? Sci-fi/thriller, action/thriller, and adventure/thriller. And it appears the favourite is action/thriller, with 75% of people voting for action/thriller. And I believe this is because it's always easier to keep watching something if there's a lot of action in it. You're just going to automatically feel, oh wow, there's a lot going on here. I don't really want to miss a second. Whereas sci-fi thriller, I believe that sort of sci-fi and adventure sort of it's a bit of a more, I want to say, refined taste, because it doesn't base itself around the action. It almost capitalizes on other things going on, like maybe for instance sci-fi, it would be maybe the CGI incorporated within the film, and for instance adventure might be more of a plot than action, maybe a good backstory, a meaty backstory kind of thing. Okay, question 7. Is there any place you'd expect a thriller to be set in particular? We've had a lot of varied responses for this one, and this will be something I take on board. I haven't actually decided where I will be filming my opening sequence yet, but when I do, you guys will be the first to know. And last but not least, what is your gender? I believe gender it's an awkward topic to talk about in terms of does it matter that the female, does it matter that the male? And I think it does have a relevant impact, because different genders stereotypically like different things, but obviously it's a stereotype, and you might get the female that enjoys Star Wars, and you might get the male that loves a rom-com. And I believe it was significant to ask this, and I believe the response is significant because it almost suggests that females watch more thrillers than men. And in a way you could argue that maybe it doesn't have an impact, but in another way you could argue it could, because if it's going to be women watching, should you put stuff in there for the purpose of women? If it's going to be males watching, should you put stuff in there for the purpose of males? But I'm deciding that I'm going to put content in that will relate to both genders, so that both genders feel that they can relate to my opening sequence, and I won't be losing out on any audiences, if you like. Thank you. This has been my target audience questionnaire review.